Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to this week's episode of Before the Free Count. No John Cena since he left the Elimination Chamber, leaving us in shock. Io Sky is the new women's champion. It was me all the time. Naomi, it was you. Killer Hell in the Cell match by Seth Rollins and CM Punk, which was invaded by the one and only Roman Reigns. All of that to come on this week's Before the Free Count. Run the thing.
Are you ready?
We are Before the Free Count. Wrestling for the fans, by the fans. Your number one place for wrestling news, rumors, and all things wrestling. Charlie and Callum are two regular guys that met at a wrestling convention and now are bonded for life.
Not word bonded.
And now they talk about wrestling in their spare time.
We're back. New series. This is Before the Free Count. And this is the road to WrestleMania. So come along for the ride. This episode of Before the Free Count is sponsored by WrestleCrate. WrestleCrate, the number one subscription box for all wrestling fans around the United Kingdom. Use code BTTC right now to get a free box with your first subscription. That's a free box with your also first box every month. So 2 for the price of 1. Can't do bad there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back yet to another episode of Before the Free Count, your number one podcast for all the wrestling news and reviews and rumours. This week I'm joined by myself. I'm very sorry, it is just me this week. I do apologise for those that are watching this thinking, where's Callum? Sadly, Callum can't be here this week, so I'm taking over by myself. 2 weeks on the trot this is, Anyway, none of this was planned. It's just the way life's been at the moment. It's been a little bit busy for both of us, so I've kind of taken the reins for now. Callum will be back very, very soon, and he does send his big, big love to all of you out there. Right, so let's get started today. Now, this is the first one we've done since Elimination Chamber. So let's talk about what's been going on. To start with, where's Cena? I'm sorry, where has he been? So as we all know, John Cena has turned heel. And you've probably, if you listened to the last episode or watched the last episode, seen my live reaction to that. It was pretty shocking to see live. I did not see it coming. I personally thought we were going to see Roman Reigns, but there is more to come on that man later on in the episode. So, Cena, there's been nothing said. I mean, he sent a few tweets out. Instagram, which is his main platform. He usually sends out like little spoilers on there, and there's nothing that I've really seen. There's been a couple of things, but nothing that's really caught my eye. But he's due to be in London next week for, I believe, he's due on Raw, so it won't be this week, it will be next week for you guys. So very interesting. Haven't heard anything. Are we going to see like a video message from him on Friday Night SmackDown or on Monday Night Raw this week? I don't know. I do think it's very interesting. We haven't heard anything, but I do think it's part of the plan. But I honestly, the more that I keep on seeing it and the more I keep on thinking to myself, let's, see where this really goes. I think that this potentially could be one of the best stories we ever see. Also, one thing on it that I would like to mention is the fact that it was announced, I think today, that his last ever match, and I could get this wrong, but his last ever public date for WWE of this calendar year is it's something like the 13th of December or the 11th of November. Don't hold me on that. It's one of those. It's like one of those in second week of the month kind of dates, and that is his last ever known. I'm going to say that very clearly. Known public date for WWE. Now, a lot of people believe this will be his last match.
and his last ever appearance, because it's where he it comes from. It's his hometown, so it would make sense for it to all come to a big conclusion in his hometown. Again, I'm not going to guess where that is, but yeah, I really, honestly, I think this whole John Cena turning heel thing has been absolutely fantastic. Where it's going to go, that's the thing. Because there's been a lot of rumours recently about there being a third man. Now, to me, I think if they did do that, it wouldn't... I mean, I say that. We don't know who it's going to be. And if there even is going to be one. But to me, if they did that, it would be, I think, less shocking than Cena turning heel. Because if we knew there was a third person, eventually when it turned out, whoever it is, as shocking as it may be for whoever it is, it's not going to be as shocking as what we witnessed at Elimination Chamber. I mean, nobody saw that coming. But ironically, you think about it, it kind of had to happen for the people that thought that if Cena was going to win the Elimination Chamber, who I remember myself saying, I think it's too easy of a path. But at the same time, he had to main event his last WrestleMania. He had to. There was no other way around it. So if someone else won the Elimination Chamber and then he still headlined, it kind of would have been unfair on that person, which kind of makes sense. But I have to say, we went from basically, I'd say, a hype level of 4 or 5 for WrestleMania to a 10 within 5 minutes that night. And there is just so much that could happen, and so much that might happen is the thing that I'm loving at the moment. And the other thing is that, minus a couple of other things in terms of Jey Uso, who we've gone over and spoken about as he won the Royal Rumble, and we have Charlotte Flair as the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble, and we also have the winner of the Women's Elimination Chamber, which was Liv Morgan. I don't know where this is going to go with the rest of the matches, which I think is a very, very interesting thing. There is one that I'm going to talk about at the end, that I think I wasn't so keen on the idea at the beginning, and I'm still not 100% convinced it's the best idea. But you know what, we'll talk about it now. We're kind of done with the John Cena thing. We'll do this. I've got my notes here, and that was at the bottom, the next thing we're going to talk about. But let's just move it up to where we are now, because we're naturally going at this pace. So, sorry, I do apologise. So what do we all think of Roman coming back on Monday night? I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I didn't actually see it coming, I've got to be honest. I personally thought it was going to be this Friday on SmackDown, because he was announced to be at the European tour. So I know he's going to be in Brussels on Friday. I know there's somewhere else on Monday. I know this Monday isn't the one in the UK. I know it's the following Monday, because they've got... I think they might be in France next week for Monday Night Raw. I could be wrong, though. They're definitely in Germany. Is it Belgium? It's Belgium. That's it. So they're... I've forgotten where they are on Friday now. They're wherever they are on Friday. Then they're in Belgium on Monday for Monday Night Raw. Then they start the UK tour. And they're in Glasgow, Birmingham, Manchester. Then they're doing Friday Night SmackDown from the O2. Then, ironically, I don't think they're doing shows over the weekend. They may. I could be wrong. And then they're doing Monday Night Raw at the O2 again. So, and I knew that Roman was coming back for them events. But as I said, I personally thought it was going to be on this week's, well, the Friday, which you've just seen it. the Friday we've just had SmackDown. Of course, I haven't seen it yet because for me it's Thursday when I'm recording this. So I don't know. I don't know actually what happens. Maybe something massive happens with Roman. But back to my point, I didn't see it coming. And also another thing I want to mention is you have to give credit to Seth Rollins and CM Punk. I don't want them to keep on overdoing this match, because I feel that when the two of them, Punk and Seth that is, get in the ring, it is possibly one of the best pairings you've got of this generation in terms of two people that have been in the industry so long that genuinely do have a bit of beef in real life. I don't think it is as bad anymore. I think there's been, obviously they've had to sort it out professionally, that is. Excuse me. But I think that there are very hard matching to be able to actually compete against anyone else. If you know what I mean, it's very hard to find two people at the same caliber as them two at that point in their career have that type of match every time they meet in the ring. And of course, we've only seen this twice. It's only ever happened twice. But, well, it's twice in the last 10 years. The first one was on the Raw premiere on Netflix. And the other one was, of course, this Hell in the Cell match on Monday Night Raw this week. Sorry, I keep on saying Hell in the Cell. It wasn't. It was a cage match. I do apologise for those that I'm annoying. But there you go. Little interesting facts for people that don't know. You probably all do know. But for those that get confused, the difference between a Hell in the Cell match and a cage match is there's actually a roof on the cell matches. The cage matches is something that goes around the arena, and the way that they can win the match is actually to be the first one to jump out and get over the cage and land both feet on the ground outside the ring. That's how you can potentially win a cage match. There's no count outs, and I don't think I think maybe you can get pinned. You can definitely get submitted, having to tap out, but because I know there's no ref in there, so maybe you can't get pinned. Anyway, we're going into really technical stuff. I'm going into really stupid stuff here. I keep on getting put off what I'm talking about. But anyway, yes, I thought the match was absolutely fantastic. Bubba Ray Dudley on his podcast, he said basically, like, that is what a cage match should be. Two blokes going at it in a ring non-stop for 20 minutes. This is another thing, actually, really quickly, that I want to keep on bringing up. That I want to bring up really quickly is that I've started noticing this a lot more since they've moved to Netflix. Is it me, or are the main events getting really, really short amount of times to be the main events? Because I remember the last time that they did this match on the premiere, and that time I kind of forgave them because I thought, like, well, it's a premiere, they want to get as much in as they can. But there's been a few other matches as well. I believe there was a tag team match with Solo Sikoa. It may have been on SmackDown. It's very rare at the moment that we're getting main events on SmackDown or Raw that are going past 20 minutes. Now, I understand why. They're 2.5 hour shows. They need to fill in the other time. However, personally, should at least run for 30 minutes. If you're main eventing that night, it should be at least a 30-minute match. Maybe not for us that are watching, but for at least the amount of time for the audience as well. So then it builds up to around about 25 minutes for us. And I know that don't seem like a big difference, but when you watch it, and because there barely has been any adverts, so maybe that is why. So maybe that is why we're getting shorter main events, it's because they are actually live. There's no cuts to commercial breaks or anything like that. But what else do you think? I mean, I personally think that the main events are getting a little bit too short for when they are. Hey, speaking of main events, very quickly, apparently there's rumours that John Cena is going to be headlining the next Saturday night main event after WrestleMania. So that's interesting. The thing is, you don't know where it's going to go because we haven't had Mania. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what stage in the story we're going to be at by then, because technically, I genuinely could say right now, by that point, Cody could lose the championship. Cena's fully heel. He's got the belt. That's not an impossibility. That is a very, very high chance at the moment. And personally, I actually think that's a really high chance of happening. And I wouldn't mind if it did, but for two reasons. One, as much people will moan going, yeah, but he was a heel and all that, he would get 17. And then by the end of the tour, and he's, become good again, babyface again, people would be happy all round with what had happened. Number two, I think it would be a really good memento or reason to start turning Cody heel. I don't think we're going to get the full heel turn until... the thing is, they've just turned the Cena heel to make Cody the biggest baby. I think that also cements something, is that they've just turned John Cena, 20 years in the industry, the highest Make-A-Wish granter ever, all-round nice guy, and one of the most loved wrestlers of the last 30 years, always been a babyface. They've just turned that guy to a bad guy. Now, that says how much they want to keep on pushing Cody. Which I think is brilliant. As I said many, many times, I'm a huge Cody fan. He says wearing his Roman Reigns 1000 Day sweatshirt today. But seriously, I think that they are trying to push him to the moon. Now, I think it will work in terms of now till WrestleMania and stuff like that. I think that there is a potential, though, we may get to a point where he's getting pushed too much. Almost like, and the thing is that you can't even compete it with Cena, because Cena's longest time holding the belt was something like 138 days. Genuinely. I don't think he ever held the belt longer than that. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure in saying that his longest reign was 138 days. I'm pretty sure it was, and I think that was when he actually won it back off Punk. I think. Was that right? What were we thinking? That was around about 20... Oh, I'm really making myself think now. That was around about 2010. And it was at Money in the Bank. Punk went away, came back. I can't remember if it was at SummerSlam or something else. Cena won it back. And then did he keep it all the way to WrestleMania? I think that could be right. But by the time he won it back, he can't have won it back at Royal Rumble, surely. Maybe he did, because I'm making myself really think here. Yeah. I keep on making myself go off track here, guys. But no, going back to what I was originally saying, this is why I have a co-presenter, because this happens, is that I think that it really could happen with Cena taking the belt off Cody this year. And I think it will work for the two reasons I've just said. But also the fact that it would make sense on many, many levels for them to do that. So anyway, moving on from that, I can fold the Cena side over. So that's done. We've spoken about Roman Reigns coming back, of course. As I said, we spoke about that quickly. Where is this going? Yes, that's where we was. Sorry, I do apologise. So the match that I pretty much think is been all or anything but confirmed, and I think this could be one of the matches that is confirmed on the European tour. Because I was saying at the beginning that there has been a lot of matches confirmed for Mania apart from Jay, Gunther versus Gunther, Charlotte versus Tiffany, Io Sky versus Liv Morgan and Cody versus Cena, I think the next match that will be confirmed will be Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth freaking Rollins. I think it will be a brilliant match. I wouldn't be surprised if they threw a few things into it, like make it a steel cage match as well, or a Bloodline Rules match. That would be pretty cool. But my biggest problem with this is that Roman has headlined the last 5 years of WrestleMania. Now, I don't think he needs to headline anymore, but I feel like it will be weird if he didn't have some kind of thing to do with the main event, which I think he will in the John Cena match, especially with The Rock, which also, you know, is a potential way of thinking like maybe he's going to be the third guy. But Cody Rhodes tweeted, "Welcome back, my tribal chief," on Monday. So again, it's such a weird year this year because you really don't know which way it's going. I think there is a chance, though, that we're going to think that he's going over to Cody's side. But I think that, you know, he's actually going to be on the Rock side. And also another thing, the reason why this match would make sense, the Cody Rhodes, the Seth Rollins, CM Punk and Roman match. The one reason I think this match could make sense would be because at Survivor Series, as we all know, the reason why CM Punk took part is because he wanted Paul Heyman to owe him a favour. We don't know what that favour is. We haven't heard anything about it. And it's the only time it's been hinted was probably once or twice leading up to Royal Rumble. And it never really fell to fruition. So, I mean, it's a good thing, but that kind of also reveals that Roman's not going to win, which also reveals that Punk's going to win. But surely that's a bit too obvious. And plus the fact, apart from that, I'm always one of those people that if we're going to have a match, there needs to be an incentive for them having this match. It's I've said this before, I know I have. It's one of Paul Heyman's greatest quotes. It was on, I believe, when he was on the Steve Austin show many, many years ago. Yeah, I think that was right. Yeah. Or it was another one that I found. There's one interview out there with Paul Heyman. It's like 2 hours long and he goes through his entire career. And it's brilliant. But he breaks down basically the formation of wrestling and how it works for the wrestlers, the promoter, and the fans. And it was when he was talking about ECW, actually. It was when he was talking about ECW. He was saying, I don't understand how people don't get the logistics of wrestling if they want to go into it. There's 3 sides to it. You're either a wrestler, you're a promoter, or you're a fan. And you need to make all 3 of them line up to make money. And the simplest way of doing that is you have wrestlers. You hire the wrestlers, you're the manager, you hire the wrestlers. The wrestlers, you start building a story and having a reason for them to fight. They have to have something there at the core for making the fan then think, why do I want to watch these 2 men fight? Why are they fighting? What makes me want to, put 20 quid out of my wallet and pay to watch this fight? What is the reason for that? And that is the simplest terms of wrestling. And the thing is, I can't find that with this match. I really can't. Maybe I'm missing something. If the thrill of the match is 3 of the biggest names in the last 10 years in a match, okay, 4, and that's where I get stuck. But I believe that is going to be the next match that's announced is Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth freaking Rollins in some kind of match at WrestleMania. So where it's going, I don't know. Do I think that he's going to be involved in the main event? Of course he is. It's Roman Reigns. It wouldn't be right if he isn't. So maybe he's going to be doing what Seth Rollins did last year, have 2 main events. but in a different way. I don't know. Anyway, moving on swiftly. We have a new women's champion. This was a bit of a shocker. Did not see this coming. So we had Liv Morgan win the Elimination Chamber, and straight after when she won, we had we had Rhea Ripley come out to come and face her, and then we had Io Sky come out afterwards. I don't want to say it's been done badly, but it's been done badly. I'm sorry, I can't not fault them on the way that they've set this up, or in the order, should I say, they've set it up. I don't have a problem, by the way, with Io Sky being the champion for WrestleMania. I have absolutely no problem with that at all. My problem is we have Elimination Chamber, which is potentially one of the biggest events leading up to WrestleMania, minus the Rumble, where they set things up for Mania, where they have the Women's Elimination Chamber and the Men's Elimination Chamber, both confirming who is going to fight the men or the women's other champion for the person that was not chosen from the Royal Rumble. That is the point in it. We also have a few other shots on that card where they could fill the gaps. You can tell where I'm going with this. One of them spots was filled in by Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, which was fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. The other one, I'm sure, was a tag team match. But I know Piper Niven and Chelsea Green was in it. I can't remember who else was in it. Oh no, sorry, I'm wrong. Was it them two? And it was against Tiffany Stratton and not Liv Morgan. Oh my god, she's on the tip of my tongue. Come on. I apologise. Come on, what's her name? Whoa, it's about to go. It's time to get the flow. Whoa. Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton. Yes, Trish Stratus and Tiffy Time Trish Stratton versus Chelsea Green and Liv Morgan. Great match. Didn't have a problem with it. Was pretty entertaining. Personally thought it was the lowest match on the night. Not against any of them. Still thought it was a brilliant match. But compared to the standards of the other matches, it was just a perfect card that night all round. However, if it was me, if I was booking it, I would have put that match on another Raw leading up to Mania, maybe in Europe, if they're going to do it that way, and have Liv Morgan versus Io Sky, Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan to decide who the champion is, and then go in to the women's elimination chamber, or have the elimination chamber first and then have that match, so the match next, so then you have the person that's just won or is about to win know who they're going to face. Not have it how it was, where Liv Morgan won, Rhea Ripley came out, and then Liv Morgan came out for us at the time, for no reason of our own, for not knowing, for them to just go, oh yeah, but this could still happen because we haven't had this fight on Raw, so we kind of want to hold you in suspense. Which kind of also ruined it for Monday, because they kind of gave away Rhea's not going to be the champion, because here's Io Sky, who's fighting her on a random episode of Raw. Okay, why are you bringing this into Elimination Chamber? Unless if it means she's going to change the hand of the title, which it clearly did. That's my rant on it over, okay? I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with the way that they did it. But I digress. The match was fantastic. The match was absolutely brilliant. The little bit where Rhea turned and went, hey Liv, see you at WrestleMania. Boom. And the 1-2-3 count. That was brilliant in-ring storytelling there. It flowed perfectly. Again, because of it, I weren't shocked, but at the same time, I was, because in the back of my head I thought, why would they bring it up at Elimination Chamber? But also, why would we change the belt now when it's only 5 weeks to Mania? So it was a shock, but at the same time, it wasn't a shock. I hope that makes sense. But Io Sky being the champion, I have absolutely no problem with whatsoever. What I do think is going to happen, though, is this will become a fatal three-way. No, that's a four-way. Triple threat. This is going to be a triple threat match. And they're going to add Rhea in. Why? I don't actually know, because that to me kind of feels like they don't trust Io and Liv to be able to hold the match up on their own. But I don't think they would have done it the way they have for any other reason than they're going to make it a triple threat. Threat. But as I said, I don't think they should do that, because it kind of shows me, the viewer, they don't have the confidence in them two leading one of the main events, which I completely disagree with. Io Sky is one of the best technical wrestlers they have on the roster at the moment. She is incredible. Some of the stuff she's been doing in the last 12 months alone. I mean, if you just want to see how good Io Sky is, go and watch her highlights from the last two War Game matches. She does stuff in that ring that she is fearless, that woman. She's jumped off the top of the War Games ring with a metal bin over her and done a backflip. The trust you have to have in your teammates and workers in the ring to be confident enough to do that and know that they will catch you in a safe way and also make it look fantastic on not just your end when you fall, but actually fall with force. It's incredible. Go and watch it. Actually, you know what? Just go and watch it now. Pause the podcast. If you're listening to this and you have access to your phone or you're watching it on YouTube, genuinely, I'm giving you this option. Go and pause this right now and go and watch Io Sky Survivor Series highlights. Go and do it. Do it. Go. Right, you're back. Okay, you're back. So now you see why, okay? She's incredible. There's absolutely nothing that I could say I would disagree with her being champion going into WrestleMania. My problem is, I don't think she's going to hold the title for the match. Purely because I think Liv will win it back. Because of the way this story's been. Rhea's not going to win it back. And I swear to God, if she does, this is the dumbest thing they've ever done, and also really hard on Io Sky. Because why would you change the championship just before Mania just to have her win it back? No. So I think either Io's going to retain, or she's going to have a really short reign of only about 5 weeks and lose it at Mania. Yeah, but it's happening. It's going to be a great match. As I said, I think it will be an absolutely brilliant match. Personally, do think that the way that they've set it up was awful, but will probably become a triple threat with Rhea Ripley in it. That's my thoughts on it. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Next on my list, what have I got? Oh, of course. How can I forget this? Jade Cargill came out at Elimination Chamber and started attacking Naomi. We thought, why is she doing this? Why is Bianca Belair, why is Bianca Belair's teammate doing this? What's happened? And then, of course, we go back a few months. Why we haven't seen Jade Cargill on screen since December, I believe. December, because she was definitely in Elimination Chamber. So what's going on? Oh yeah, someone attacked her and made her have to take 4 months out from a hidden attack. This week on SmackDown, we found out it was, in fact, Naomi. That story, within one promo, has become my top 3 storylines running at the moment. I've got Cody and Cena. I've got Roman, Punk and Seth. And I've got this one now. And I'm being fully serious. This, in my opinion, should have happened before Chamber, and then it would make sense for Bianca to win the Chamber. But I just realised I kept on saying that it's Liv Morgan that won the Chamber. I think it was Bianca Belair. I'm going to have to check that now. Give me 1 second. I feel like an absolute idiot. I do apologise. I realise I've been saying Liv Morgan all this time when it is actually Bianca Belair. I am so sorry. Oh, Charlie. What an idiot. I do apologise, guys. I do really, really apologise. I feel like a fuel. So sorry. This is why I have a co-host. So, Bianca Belair is facing Io Sky at WrestleMania. And it was when Rhea turned to Bianca and said that I'll see you at Mania, and Io Sky did the move which got the 1-2-3 count. At the end of Elimination Chamber, Io Sky came out to see Rhea and Bianca. Bianca won the Elimination Chamber, so it makes a bit more sense. I don't think they should have set the match up the way they did between Io Sky coming out and then having to deal with Rhea Ripley the following week. So it makes Bianca not know who she's facing when they could have just had that match at the Elimination Chamber, which would have made more sense. So then when Bianca won afterwards or before that match, she would have known who she was facing at Elimination Chamber. And of course, now we've just found out that the person that attacked Jade Cargill was Naomi, who was Bianca Belair's partner. I think I've just covered everything that I said wrong in the first part of this podcast. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. So anyone who was listening, every single time when I said Liv Morgan, I meant Bianca Belair. Okay? There you go. I'm going to have to put a preview, a little warning at the beginning of this podcast now for you guys. Anyway, back to where we were. Naomi is now facing... Naomi, for God's sake, Charlie. Naomi, of course, now admitted that it was her that attacked Jade Cargill. And as I was saying, that is now in my top 3 storylines that are running. We've got Cody Rhodes and John Cena, Seth Rollins, CM Punk and Roman Reigns, and of course, Liv Morgan... Oh my God, I did it again! Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Naomi, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky, all within this story leading up to this match at WrestleMania. Finally, I got it right. I do apologise so much. But no, genuinely going back to what I was saying, I think that was one of the best promos I've seen in a long time. It really was like within the caliber of, you know, I'm going to say it now, I'm chucking it into my top 10 for considerations of the best promo of the year. Oh, I know, it's going in there. It's in there. It's one of the nominations. There we go. But I think that this could really, really lead to a brilliant story leading up to WrestleMania. The problem is, I think it's so good where they've mucked up the timing of everything. I don't know how they're going to have Rhea, Jade, Liv, Naomi, and Bianca all involved in the match. You can't do that. You can't. So you could easily have Liv versus Rhea on their own, which would work fine. But I think we should have... They can't have a tag team match for one of them to win the championship, surely. No, because it wouldn't make sense. But Jade Cargill and Naomi are definitely going to be involved in that match against Io Sky and Bianca Belair now. 100%. 100%. But I thought, again, as I said, I thought that was an absolutely brilliant promo. There was, make no bones about it, become one of my favourite stories. What's going to happen next, though, I don't know. But this is going to be really interesting to follow. By the way, I'm not going to mention the meme, but for those in the know, the I did it, or the it was me meme, where they've cut Naomi's head out and put it on Rishiki's body from that early 2000s promo. Absolutely brilliant, because it just fits so well. And finally, I thought what we would talk about very quickly is WWE 2K 2025. So it came out last Friday. It's out today. For those that are listening, came out on the Friday. Friday the 14th for you. See, nearly Friday the 13th, but it wasn't just. But no, Friday the 14th of March, WWE 2K 2025 came out. I was very fortunate. I got a pre-order copy and got because of that, I got access for the game and I've had it for the last week. I can't give you a full review because I've only been playing the island. So what I can do is talk to you guys about the island, because I know it's one of the things that people are most interested about, which is why I spent quite a bit of my time in it. I'd say I spent around about, I've been quite busy, but I'd say I spent around about 5 hours this week going through the story that's in the island, which is to basically become Roman Reigns' second man who will get a contract to become part of the WWE. That is the story in the island. And you have many, many different stories that you go around and play. You have the first one, which is almost like the basics, which is called Welcome to the Family. And you kind of like, do different types of matches, and you go from one place to another and have fights in the different areas, apart from the Undertaker's area and the Unknown. They're the only two places you don't go, but the other two you go back and forth from, which is the Hall of Heroes and the... Oh, come on. It's like the video game place. I can't remember the name of it. And that's kind of like the first couple of stories, and the first story. Then you have this one between Cody Rhodes, which is really, really cool. Rhea Ripley's also involved in that one. So that's very, very good. You then have one which involves Seth Rollins, I think, and there's someone else I can't remember. And then there's another one which involves Xavier Woods, Johnny Gargano, and Dakota Kai. That one is the only one I've had problems with, because for some reason on that mode it switches it from whatever mode you set it as to hard. So, and it's a cell match at the end. So that's a bit annoying that you can't, that the settings kind of change depending on which match you're playing, and you can't actually change the game settings. It's kind of like just set like that no matter what. But apart from that, here's my take from the island. Good story, decent online play. I have to say, the online side of it, I haven't got a problem with. Also, in terms of that, one of the biggest things that was wrong, in my opinion, with 24 was the online servers. Not a problem anymore. Because I've been easily connected to the island within 5 seconds. Genuinely. And this is being played on PS5. So the connections between connecting you and 49 other players to an online game, absolutely no problem. I have played against different competitors online as well. I'd say the times between connection is about 20 to 30 seconds you're looking at. There's no lag that I've seen yet. Haven't seen any lag. The only thing is I can't comment on Showcase, which I know a lot of people are really interested in because you can go and change the story, and it's supposed to be absolutely fantastic this year. I've played my GM a bit. My GM's had a few different tweaks. There's a few new managers in there. There's some really, really cool new cards that you can add. You can help change the promos a bit more this time. There's a lot more customization in the way that you can set up the matches, and there's a lot more customization in why you've picked that person to be a heel and why you've connected them to work with that person. If you remember, like last time, you could see who they had who they basically had as their villains or like their nemesis or whatever. I can't remember the right word. Who they've basically been fighting with since and have a ongoing bout with them storyline. There's a lot more customization in that side of it as well. I don't really play the card side, so I can't really comment on that. As I said, I haven't also played the story mode yet at all, and my universe I haven't touched yet. But from the sides that I've played, my GM and the island, which I know mainly the island is one of the biggest things that people wanted to talk about, I think it's really good. The only problem I have with it is that there is a very good chance that it may be one of those pay-to-win kind of things, purely because I've played easily 5 hours on the island. I have only unlocked 4 extra credits to up your character. Now, bearing in mind, my character's nearly a 99, which is, I'm just that good. No, which is because you get so many credits at the beginning, and you got some extra ones if you pre-ordered the game. So I think I started at like a 90, and I've got up to like a 98 now. So it's very, very good for customization. In terms of using, the only flaw that I have with it is in terms of using like all the shops that you're seeing that are advertised, like you can get clothing from Nike and Jordan and all that blah 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 blah. They are the types of things that they are waiting for people to go in and go, oh, I want to get this pair of trainers. Okay, you're £20 in real money in credits away from being able to buy them. Buy credits in the game. Not a fan of that at all. So if you stay away from the shops and stuff like that and just stick to the game being the storyline and playing people online, it's pretty good. It really is. But again, as I said, depends. I don't expect it to be perfect this weekend. If you do go and play it, it's the first weekend. Give the service a chance to, catch up. There's going to be a lot of people trying to play it this weekend. Anyway, apart from that, I think I'm done. So yeah, what do you guys think of what's been going on in wrestling? What do you think we're going to see as WWE kicks off their European leg of their road to WrestleMania? And where is this going with all these storylines like Cena and Liv Morgan and Seth Rollins and CM Punk? Now my brain's starting to work again. Where do you think this is going? Let me know. And of course, as I always say, if you have any questions or types of scenarios or things you want us to predict, or maybe even a subject for the show, just send us a message. There is a message part if you're listening to this on Spotify. Comment down below on YouTube. There is also a dedicated place, I believe, on Apple, on iTunes, on podcasts for you to be able to listen to this. I think we're nearly on every device now. I think there's the only place that we're not on is Audible or Smart FM, something like that. I know we're not on there yet, but we're sorting out the things to get that stuff going as well. Come back next week, where I will hopefully be joined by Callum, and we'll be talking about what's been going down on the European tour. And of course, it will only be 1 month next week until WrestleMania. So join us back next week as we talk about what we think is going to happen with only 4 weeks to go till WrestleMania. This has been Before the Free Count. I have been your host, Charlie Crick. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time.
WrestleCrate, the #1 subscription box for all wrestling fans around the United Kingdom. Use code BTTC right now to get a free box with your first subscription. That's a free box with your also first box every month. So 2 for the price of 1. Can't do bad there.